parking brake is coming off. I'm gonna. I don't even know how to get it to 50. Oh, is it that 5 on the? It is that 5.
So if you move your throttles, you'll see that there's a couple of little circles moving along the throttle display on the upper ECAM. So just put them up to about 5, and then when you're happy, shove them all the way forward.
Okay, there's 50, and now I'm going to go forward because they appear to be stabilized. Oops. There we go. It did said not set because I wasn't all the way toggled forward. Okay, so there we got Tauga. I called out the 100. We got the V1 coming up. I'm going to do a nice rotation. Keep it up. Keep the nose up. Keep the nose up. Oh, I shot over the 20. No. Yeah, I did. I shot over the 20 degrees. Okay, gear coming up. It's a real balance trying to hit that 17. We're okay there now. We're at 1600 climbing. Normally I would do an outside view, but I'm trying to... Oh, we got toga lock now. Because we're probably because of the speed. We're almost going to be able to change it. I'll go ahead and change it now.
Put in the autopilot to reduce your workload.
Yeah, I'm going to switch this back to, thrust climb. And then I'm going to engage the autopilot. It was recommended to me to, I can do it one outside view. It was recommended by me or by someone else to map your autopilot disconnect, connect. All right, I can get rid of this window for now. We'll do one more flyby just for the eye candy.
And you're above S speed, so you can also retract flaps now.
Flaps coming up. All right, so there, again, I went a little bit high, but I'd rather be closer to the 20 degree mark than below 10 degree mark, if that makes sense. I think flaps are up. See you later, Greenville, Spartanburg. We're making the turn. Passing through 6,800. Flaps are on. Packs have stayed on the entire time. The gear is up.
Can you try and push the altitude knob? I think it's still trying to command an initial climb here.
It's not. It's in altitude now, not managed. Do you want it to be managed?
No, the climb mode right now is showing SRS. So
now it's speed. If you look in the delay, I'm gonna go ahead and put it in our cruise, and I'm gonna let it manage it up to 3. What do we do? 360.
340, I think, was your final.
Yeah, 340.
So if you now push it in, it'll give you climb mode.
Yeah. The reason airlines use co-pilots is to free the pilot to get flyby views. Exactly, B2. Will there be a sharklet version? I don't know. You thought the co-pilot handled the camera? Yeah, maybe. Good morning, JSnap. Have you been supportive of me in the forums today? Have you championed my cause for us streamers to show this plane in all of its glory? Or have you said, we should not be streaming this right now? I want to know, what have you said, Mr. JSnap, the Ortho 4XP magician of my stream? G-Hub 625, good morning. He's working on the shared flight deck integration. Yeah, I'm looking for it. Yeah. Well, apparently, JSnap, it went on sale for all of about 7 minutes. And so I don't know how many people. I think there's at least 3 or 4 in this chat room that bought it, because I showed the page here and then immediately people went there and bought it, but I don't know if they have actual functional license keys or not. But it's exciting times, folks. All right, for CFI, virtual CFI. What do I do now? Anything? I'm gonna turn off my lights.
Yeah, you can turn off your lights past 10,000, and you're pretty much set for a cruise.
Beacon stay on or off?
Beacon on, always
strobe on.
Always strobes on as well.
And we're climbing. I think it's time for one more flyby.
The wing lights. Normally, by the way, the wing lights you would not be turning on.
Just only for ice, right? Ice check.
They're primarily on many airplanes. They're known as wing inspection lights. So the purpose being to inspect the leading edge of the wing for ice.
I think that I turn the wing lights on because I've had this whole Cirrus Max lovely idea of just lighting up like a Christmas tree on takeoff.
Sure. Well, I know some people use them on many airplanes that have like these very, very large winglets. The winglets also light up the winglets, enhancing the silhouette of the aircraft, which is especially useful if you're lining up for when you hold them short of the runway. That increases your visibility from somebody who's on final. Because otherwise they're not going to be able to see you, especially if you don't have a logo like some of the older 737s.
Oh, that reminds me. That brings me back to another thing. You said that they will call out 100 knots. Is it true? I think that Boeing pilots tend to call out 80. If I'm not mistaken.
It depends. Some airlines use 80, some use 100. For Airbus, it's most typically. I've never heard anybody use 100. I've only seen one. I've never seen anybody use 80 on an Airbus. Only 100. On Boeing's, I've seen both.
Okay, yeah, that's what I've seen. All right, I'm going to set standard pressure. According to the real world pilot that I've been talking to, he said that, and you may have seen the bug report, when you bug the standard pressure or change the altimeter up here, it is not tied to the first officer's side. They're independent.
Yeah. This was done basically as a convenience temporarily.
I love the convenience because you're, as a simulator pilot, you're one person. But then again, in the spirit of realism, I guess it should have, maybe it should be an option.
Yes. Well, I do believe it should be a switchable option, but right now it is tied for convenience together, even though underneath the airplane does actually simulate them as two independent static systems. So it's not just a double display.
Well, Jay Krause, I was just thinking that maybe they'd take your money and then maybe give you a refund if they weren't really launching, if it was a premature launch. What baffles me is that whole I can't recall who the developer was, but that Mad Dog release that was accidental, and then they wanted to finish the plane, but it's still not released, I think.
The MD-80, I think, or 82, or by ATS.
Yeah.
The airline training simulations, something like that.
Yeah.
That's what they're called. Yeah, unfortunately, they've had some internal troubles where I'm not really hopeful that they're ever going to be able to finish that.
There's a weather load going on here, folks, so bear with me on the frames for a moment. There we go. Oh, no, still weather. It also could be a tile load. Let's just give it a second here. Maybe if I switch here. I look down. Oh, all right. Then go to back to the outside. They let you keep it. They sent an email after, said, so you got it a bit early. No need to brag on the forums. Give us your username for the beta forum. I love it. I mean, I feel bad that it's not. I mean, the people missed out on it, but at the same time, letting a few more people come in and try out the plane and start to get feedback. I'll be the first to admit, if any of you out there in the John Fly chat world today are ever invited to be on a beta team, it's very important to report bugs, right? I'll admit that sometimes in the past I've been hesitant to report bugs for fear of looking incompetent, and really I shouldn't have that fear. But the other part of it is that when you have 3,000 bug reports, you also are sometimes leery and you try to search to see if the bug has been reported before. Truth be told, you should just start throwing out reports. If they've been addressed before, they're going to be, dismissed. If you don't have a lot of detail, they may be dismissed, but it's better to have a report than nothing. So in hindsight, with the problem yesterday, I should have just done a simple, hey, cabin temperature minus 55, deck temperature minus 55. Not sure what I did. I am investigating. If any of you can please watch this video and see if there was anything in particular that may have led to that condition, boom, I should have done that, and I didn't. But any of you that happen to get it, if you get added to the bug report forum, please don't be intimidated to submit a report. And even if you're in that first 200, 300, 400, 500 that are allowed in here in the near future, also don't be intimidated to submit a report. I'm thinking that my feeling that is the more the better, even if it's a redundant report or maybe a repetitive report. So with that being said, I want to look and see if I have cabin temperature. I think. All right, so down on the ECAM, or I got to get all these definitions. I want to look at. Do I want to look at pressure, the pressure page, or do I want to look at which one has that cabin temperature? No, it's right there. It's 24C. We're totally fine. So whatever I did today, we could not recreate the cabin temperature problem. And the pressure problem is fine also. So, there you go. Sorry for my soapbox there. Yeah, SkyMax. Yep. I am definitely going to... I'm an owner of XEnviro. And I'm really looking forward to 1.08. I've heard some really good things about it. Often there are logs, crash reports, descriptions, all kinds of stuff to narrow things down. They need to be communicated. Hopefully something available in the beta forums for those included. Yeah, like the first, I've only been in the beta for a few weeks, and I went through the overhead and I submitted a report for some name changes for some of the labels and some misspellings and different things. And it was really cool how it was immediately addressed and changed. But I didn't feel like I could submit very many reports initially because I am such a newbie when it comes to Airbus. But, autopilot disconnect. There we go. That was me accidentally hitting my rudder pedals. I'm almost wondering if that is real world right there.
Yeah, if you stomp on the pedal, of course.
No, just accidentally brush the pedal. But I guess the pedals are far enough away from the people they're not going to accidentally hit the pedals, are they?
The pedals are reasonably stiff.
Oh, okay.
It's not easy to just put your feet on them. But yeah, if you the way that you have your pedals set up here and in an aircraft is somewhat different in that usually on an aircraft you sit a little bit lower than on an office chair.
Okay.
So yeah, and plus you're not sitting on a rolling chair in an aircraft, so you're not going to be ever using your feet to push yourself away from some sort of a table or something.
Makes sense. All right, we're going up to, we're getting close to cruise. The other thing I need to do is I need to show, someone wanted to check the EFB brightness. I'll have to do that on the next flight. I'm going to turn sounds on for the next flight.
Well, you can also play around with the EFB right now if you want to.
Well, I think you wanted more of like a night lighting, but it's hard to simulate the EFB brightness
Yeah.
I see ECAM brightness. Is that what he was Oh, I see what you're saying. Over here on this settings wheel, maybe. Oh, is that the brightness there? Ah.
Question: was he talking about ECAM or EFB?
I
ECAM
think
is
he was
just
talking about
displays in
EFB.
EFB is on the top right.
Yeah, I never saw that before, so that's good to know. I like that. And of course, maybe 2 or 3 of you haven't seen this part. youtube.com/whatever.
John Fly.
Yeah. I'll put in, who I'll put in here. Who's someone that I really like? Oh, are any of your TBM videos public or no?
No, they're not right now, so that's fine.
We'll do John Fly Coldplay. Oh, John Fly Coldplay. Little cruise entertainment. I had front row to the Coldplay concert. I wonder if my VOD's going to get clipped. Better be careful. Although it's a live performance, but Coldplay's so good at live performances that it may get clipped. I'll let it play without volume.
The copyright police is going to get us.
Well, the funny thing is this is a personal video that I made at the concert, right? And I put it up on YouTube, and it got demonetized because, yeah, the artificial intelligence out there said, "Yep, that's Coldplay. We recognize it." And so that's how accurate they are with their sound in their concerts. Because normally live performances don't qualify for like a demonetization, or the copyright doesn't pick up on it because it's a live version. It's hard to tell, but these guys are so accurate. Oh yeah, there's no sound on the sim. That's right. I forgot about that. Cool. So I'm not going to get clipped at all. All right. Well, anyway, that's the EFB. And now we know about the EFB brightness. So we've hit that bird. All right, yeah. Coming up to cruise. Talk me through.
Just interesting aspect about the GPS that's implemented on the airplane here. That's part of the sort of high fidelity simulation aspect of it. Is that, for instance, if you are, let's say, in cruise and you play around with the time too much, you move the time around. Let's say you manually slew time by like say 6 or 10 hours. All of a sudden, you might get like GPS primarily lost.
I see that. Yeah.
What the hell's that all about? Thing is that the aircraft simulates the actual real-world GPS satellite positions in real time, based on the orbit data that's public. So, if you were flying in real time right now, you would actually see the exact same GPS constellation of satellites on a GPS receiver if you were standing at where the airplane is in the simulator. So that means if you change the time, what you've essentially changed is all of a sudden those little GPS satellites that are simulated on orbit around the simulated Earth there in the simulator, all of those are suddenly repositioned and completely changed. So all of a sudden the airplane will have lost GPS lock because all of a sudden the constellation has just moved around in some bizarre fashion. It'll come back in a couple of minutes. It has to basically reacquire GPS lock. But it's an interesting consequence of how accurate the GPS simulation here is. It's like all of a sudden satellites have just changed their position in the sky, and the GPS receiver gets mightily confused with that.
Makes sense. I mean, okay. That's good info. I'm not sure that I like that warning on the middle of my screen when I'm at 20 or at 19 frames for a second. That warning comes up. I wish they would maybe put that up at the upper border or something. But
yeah, it's the X-Plane 1110. That's the thing.
Okay. All right, we're at cruise. Let's go. Let's talk about what we should do here. just offhand, I'm thinking that maybe spoiler disarm.
And that should have been disarmed with flap 0. That's normally done by your pilot.
I was told.
Monitoring.
I was told that people disarm the spoilers at 10,000. Is that maybe SOP related?
Yep. Probably.
Okay. So it's either when the flaps are coming up or 10,000, depending on how you feel, I guess. What SOP you're running. All right, lights are off. We got that. Standard barrel set. Lights are off. Okay. All right. Do we want to set any cruise winds in the FMC?
Sorry, the cruise what?
Cruise winds. Do we want to do anything with that?
You could, not necessary. You could have done it while you were still on the ground, but you can do it right now if you want to. Just go into the...
Maybe for the next flight.
Sure. Or you can do it in a flight plan if you go to the vertical revision of any waypoint that is part of the cruise phase. That'd be the right-hand side of the buttons. And there you can then enter wind data.
You know what I'm going to do? It's already asking for destination data, so we better do that pretty soon. I am going to do a save state, and if someone can remind me on the ground, I'm going to close this. Actually, I'll just go over to xplane.org. Okay, I'm going to go to my settings, and I'm going to save this as before Cinca. I'm really curious if this plane will be fully the same exact as it is right now if I just load that scenario. That'll be very amazing.
It might reposition you back here as well.
That's what I want it to do.
Okay.
I want it to come back right to this very moment. So after I land, after we do our replays and everything like that, I want to go ahead and say, hey, let's load back up to this exact point where we were in cruise and see if it works, if that makes sense.
Okay.
All right. So, so besides spoilers, anything else we should be doing, or should we just be enjoying our cruise here?
Well, let's see. Where's your top of descent point?
Oh, enter destination data, maybe. Top of descent is 49 miles away.
Well, 49 miles, you still got about 10 miles to actually start really worrying about it. But normally I start my pre-descent preparations around 40 miles out. So that's the point at which I'd be looking at the arrival at the approach, is figuring out charts, figuring out weather, that sort of stuff. Okay.
So I'm going to get the weather at Tallahassee. So I'll come over here. You guys can come with me. And we'll come over here and we'll just put in KTLH. And I'm going to go to weather. All right, we've got 120. Winds are 120 at 13 to 20. Visibility 10, scattered 2700. Temperature 29er. Altimeter 3015, dew point 21. All right. So obviously we're going to be landing on runway 9. Runway 9, it's got some nice winds. This will be interesting. If we come over here to procedures and I do approach for runway 9, there's an RNAV GPS approach, but I do not see an ILS for runway 9.
John, what sort of initial posting timeout do you have for followers here on the channel?
I think it's 10 minutes, but we can change it if you'd like.
Because we have a cert coming into the
perfect.
Into the chat here.
Let me. What's the command here? Hold on. I think it's. Unknown command. Oh, what is it? Let me look it up here. Hold on. Oh, here it is. Okay. This is dangerous, but here we go. Okay. It's now off. Assert is here. Thank you, Assert, for being here. All right. Let's. I think I want to enter the destination data, so I'm going to put in QNH altimeter 3015. So 30.15, and then temperature is 29er, so I'm going to put that 29 right Celsius into there.
Yep.
And then the winds are 120. What happens when there's a range of 13 to 20? Should I put in 120?
Or hang on, for winds?
Yeah.
Normally, are they variable?
It says 120 at 13 to 20. It says, well, they're gusting, so I should probably just put the 13 in.
That's probably what the gusting means.
So should I put the gust in or the average?
Yeah, it's 13 gusting 20. So you put in 13. Some airlines will have some sort of a method of setting this up. Normally, but I think in the wind part, you'd only put in the steady portion, and you also then want to change your BAPP value to the approach speed that you're going to be flying.
Approach, RNAV, GPS 9. Well, I think I'll go via. I want to go way out. Radco. Oh, it'll do a procedure turn? That'll be interesting. Maybe. All right, are you there? Hello?
No, go from Compa, and then it'll skip basically. I can vector you around once you get a little bit closer.
All right, so we'll change the approach. Change approach. ILS runway 9 from Compa. You're going to be my ATS. ATC, I mean. I think I just named the name of the developer we were talking about earlier. Okay, back to the McDo. All right, so what's next here? Oh, transition altitude. We kind of didn't do that, right?
Yep.
I'm going to also. Should I reset my altitude down to 3,000 now, or are you gonna? So it starts that descent when we want it to, or what?
Put in 3,000 and push the button in now. You're good to start your descent.
Okay, 3,000. And button pushed in. Managed descent, thrust set to idle.